What's up, everyone? Welcome back. It's spring, it's a new series, and I'm super excited to be here. So, what are we talking about? This series is called Restoring Your Home. And I'm not talking about cleaning it up just because it's springtime. I'm talking about creating a space that comes from a healing place. And this looks like our food, the products that we use on our bodies, the products that we use in our household to clean, and then as well as how to remove EMF, so electromagnetic fields, out of our homes, or just slowly just reducing that. Well, it's your girl Alicia, holistic nutritionist and a personal trainer. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome. You guys know what to do. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I love to get your feedback. And also, if you guys are doing the Mobility Move series, shout outs to you because that series was super bomb. So today we are highlighting food and how to transition moving things out while we're moving things in simultaneously. Because the one rule that I love to just get into my brain and my client's brain is before we start removing, we want to start adding in. Now, this topic on food, we're really looking at the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen, because this is going to be super easy to just digest and understand how to, one, save a little bit money, and also just look at the things that we may want to buy organic because they are highly sprayed with pesticides. Now, every year the Environmental Working Group, EWG, does a pretty amazing job, I must say, of providing us with a list of the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And this list allows us to know what to steer clear of when it comes to buying organic, and then also the things that we can just stay away from when buying things non-organic. Now, when you're going into the grocery store, sometimes it's just a little bit easier to buy the non-organic things because it's cheaper. But personally, when we start getting into the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, you'll understand why certain produce, either fruits or vegetables, you would want to buy organic. And this list has helped me so much now that I've learned more about it. And I hope that this list helps you understand why you should be buying some things organic and some things non-organic. Let's take a look at the Clean 15 list. The Clean 15 is a list of low sprayed produce that you can ultimately buy non-organic without the high risk of pesticides being heavily sprayed. We have avocados, sweet corn, pineapples, onions, papaya, sweet peas, asparagus, honeydew, melons, kiwi, cabbage, mushrooms, mangoes, sweet potatoes, watermelon, and carrots. Now, this is a pretty sweet list for the Clean 15. This helps me and will help you go into the grocery store and be able to say, okay, if I'm going to be choosing these fruits and vegetables, then I'll be able to buy these non-organic because they are on the Clean 15 list, and this is actually going to save me some money. So here's the takeaway on the Clean 15 list. Almost 65% of Clean 15 fruit and vegetable samples had no detectable pesticides residues. Avocados and sweet corn were the cleanest produce. Less than 2% of samples showed any detectable pesticides. Just over 10% of Clean 15 fruit and vegetable samples had residues of 2 or more pesticides, and no sample from the first 6 Clean 15 items tested positive for more than 3 pesticides. Now, the sample of the first 6 are the first 6 that I mentioned on the list of the Clean 15 because everything goes in order. Now for the Dirty Dozen. The Dirty Dozen list that you would want to make sure you're buying organic. And these 12 were the most contaminated with pesticides. Here's the list. We have strawberries, spinach, kale, collard and mustard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell and hot peppers, cherries, blueberries, and green beans. That is a pretty big list on terms of, one, a lot of the fruits and the vegetables that I love to eat and I used to buy non-organic with. Knowing that they're on the Dirty Dozen list now makes me think about buying it organic. So I'm making sure that my spinach is organic, my kale is organic, my strawberries, and my apples. Guys, you need to buy organic for these, okay? So here's the takeaway on the Dirty Dozen list. More than 90% of samples of strawberries, apples, cherries, spinach, nectarines, and grapes tested positive for residues of 2 or more pesticides. A total of 210 pesticides were found on Dirty Dozen items. Of those, over 50 different pesticides were detected on every type of crop on the list except cherries. All of the produce on the Dirty Dozen had at least one sample with at least 13 different pesticides, and some had many as 23. Kale, collard, and mustard greens, as well as hot peppers and bell peppers, had the most pesticides detected of any crop, 103 and 101 pesticides in total respectively. I know you're watching this and you're probably like, why is this important to me? Why do I need to know about the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen and pesticides? Well, pesticides are known to cause potential health problems. Some acute effects are nausea, respiratory problems, headaches, and sore throats, as well as cramp, lactic acid buildup. But then we could go into some chronic effects that pesticides can do to us. And that can look like our endocrine system, so our hormones being pretty much messed up and not signaling out the hormones the way that they're supposed to, liver damage, reproductive effects, carcinogenic effects, and so much more. But this is not to scare you, because there are some ways other than buying organic for the things that are the Dirty Dozen that you can do if you're only able to buy the non-organic produce. How to reduce your exposure to pesticides. Well, we already talked about the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. In retrospect, you would want to buy organic or low sprayed. So again, looking at the list, you would want to use the Clean 15 as your low spray so you can buy non-organic, and then the Dirty Dozen as the ones that's highly sprayed and you'd want to buy organic. Another way is actually buying local as well. Get to know your farmers. It's a great way to find out what's happening and how your produce is being grown. I would also say stay in the loop with the EWG. The link is in the description of their website that you can use for the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen list. 2, soak your produce when you get home. I know this is a little bit tedious for some. A lot of us want to just come home with our groceries and pack them away, but there's some steps that you can actually help yourself. Just like when preparing your weeks of foods and you want to meal prep and you cut up your vegetables, you chop up your meat, you season it, and you go on with your day, and that lets you pretty much have more of a relaxed week because everything's already prepped. This is what you want to do with your produce as well. You want to clean them. So one way that you can do this is taking a bowl of lukewarm or room temperature water, adding apple cider vinegar and baking soda, and just allowing it to soak in for about 5 to 15 minutes. The ones that are low sprayed, you want to have it in for about 5 minutes, and the ones that are highly sprayed that have like a thick skin, you would want to soak in for about 10 to 15 minutes. You can also buy like a produce scrub to help scrub the pesticides off of your fruits and your vegetables. 3, filter tap water. A lot of our pesticides are found in our drinking water. That's why it's a great idea to have filters like Berkey or Santivia, or maybe a full house filter in the household for you to use to drink. Essentially, because if we're drinking tap water, you're going to get the fluoride and all these other nasty things in our drinks, in our drinking water, and we want to filter all of that out. And I believe in a great home system. In my house, if you guys saw in our other videos, we use Santivia, which is actually putting back in the magnesium and everything else that it might be missing, giving us the calcium and all of that that our body needs. So drinking filtered water is going to be a great way to help reduce your exposure to pesticides. Last but not least, number 4, use probiotics and prebiotics, or eat fermented foods to reduce intestinal absorption of pesticides. I hope all of this was very informative for you on how to restore your home in our series, the first topic, clean 15 and dirty dozen. Remember, this is just something, a list that we want to use when we go grocery shopping to help reduce our exposure to pesticides, while we're simultaneously moving things in as we slowly start taking things out. I will see you guys in our next video where we talk about cleaning products. It's your girl Alicia, holistic nutritionist and personal trainer. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome. You guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys later.